Hi guys, so I wanted to talk about Chris Eubank Jr. I'm not feeling too well, so um, just up late night, and I thought I'd make a video. Don't really want to go in front of the camera feeling like this, look like crap. But yeah, so as you guys know, we've covered the Chris Eubank Jr. media workout, and I'm just watching him do a little bit of shadow boxing here, and I've noticed a few things about Eubank Jr. in terms of his style now. He's taken a loss to Billy Joe Saunders, and you guys, I'm sure, have heard the saying. And please forgive me for the monotone in my voice, but you've heard the saying that you learn more from your losses than you do from your wins, and I think that Chris Eubank Jr. is going to have learnt so much from his loss to Billy Joe Saunders, because I really feel he made some fundamental mistakes which are very easily rectified. Um, First of all, I think he was loading up too much on shots, and that's the number one thing that got him in trouble. I think that what he needed to do was just trip out the jab a little bit, not load up on every single shot. Try and if you're struggling to land on the target, you shouldn't constantly be loading up on shots, because by loading up on shots, your opponent's going to see it coming. And also, in addition to that, it's got to travel up your foot, up your leg, up your waist, up your torso, up your shoulder, all the way down your arm and to your hand. Your opponent's going to see that coming. If you're just pot shotting and trying to use speed instead of trying to get power into your punches, that's gonna enable you to land on your opponent um, at a higher rate than if you're loading up on shots. Another thing that I think that Chris Eubank Jr. in his shadowboxing, you can see this, is his hands are up a lot more. Now, if you look at him in previous shadowboxing, I think that he keeps his hands up during shadowboxing and he throws a lot of flashy combinations. In this, he's really, I think, thinking about what he's doing now, um, and you can see that the flashy stuff isn't there anymore. It's more cerebral. Um, if you look at his approach now, he's a bit more relaxed. He's thinking about what he's doing. And I know you can't take a lot of shadow boxing, but I really think that this is going to be the difference in Chris Eubank Jr. I think that he's got potential to be a great fighter. I think that he showed to me in the Billy Joe Saunders fight that Chris Eubank Jr. is going to be a great fighter in time to come. He just lacked experience and took the fight at the wrong age. I think that in a rematch, maybe about another 3 fights, even in the next fight, I think he could potentially beat Billy Joe Saunders in a rematch. I picked Chris Eubank Jr. to win the first time around. And to be honest, I think I'd pick him again. Even though he lost this fight fair and square, and you have to give credit to Billy Joe Saunders. But I think that Chris Eubank Jr. isn't a bum at all. I think he's a tremendous fighter, and he is going to show exactly what he's worth. He's got power, he's got speed. He showed, he's obviously got a chin. Like 5% of his dad's chin is enough. I think in terms of his boxing, he wasn't quite there in terms of experience. I mean, had he had experience, he would have known how to make the adjustment in the ring. That's why Floyd Mayweather is so good, because he's able to make adjustments in the ring, because he's been in so many different situations before due to his experience. I mean, you can look at the 46-0 record, but that's not the only thing. The thing is that 46-0 is accumulated over a period of years, and all them rounds in sparring, all the fights that he's had, the amateur experience, all that tied together is what's given Mayweather Jr. the experience. I mean, Chris Eubank Jr., he's very young, and for him to jump in there with someone like Billy Joe Saunders, who I'm not even sure about the age difference between the two, but I know Billy Joe Saunders had definitely been tested more. He'd been in there with the better competition. I think that what happened with Chris Eubank Jr. is he was fighting a bunch of nobodies and thrown in with a top level athlete, and I don't think that was the right move for his career at all. I think, but then again, I think he's gonna learn from this and become a better fighter. I think all Chris Eubank Jr. needs to do is keep his hands up, learn to make adjustments a little bit better in the ring, not load up on all the shots that he throws, be a little bit more aggressive sometimes. I mean, if you're losing the fight in terms of your boxing, try to approach the other person a little bit more. And I think that he's going to be watching this fight kicking himself, because these were tactics that, to be honest, he could have easily made. And I think as you watch him shadowboxing right here, I think we can see that there's not much of that flashy stuff, the jumping over the rope, the keeping your hands down and all that stuff. It's more Chris Eubank Jr. Becoming a man, you know, like becoming himself and coming into his own. So I'm really looking forward to his fight against Shudanov, and I really feel like he's going to show us some differences in his boxing. I think he's already got the tools. He definitely had the tools before, but I think it's just a matter of showing them tools and allowing himself to use them tools. I don't think he was aware how to and when to, and I think when you take a loss, he will learn how to and when to. I mean, he's got such a deadly uppercut, but I mean, just because you've got deadly uppercut doesn't mean you use it all the time. And that was something I said in my pre-fight. I hope Chris Eubank Jr. doesn't bank on the uppercut, and I really feel he banked on the uppercut a little bit too much. I mean, the thing is, when you throw an uppercut, if a person is able to lean back very quickly, there's not much chance of catching them because you can't change the uppercut to land on your opponent if your opponent's leaning back. Whereas a left hook, if you kind of off range halfway through the left hook, you can extend your arm out a little bit more and catch your opponent a little bit better. Same with the jab, same with the right cross. So I think it's these little things which Chris Eubank Jr. needs to change, and I think he will have learned from his mistakes. Looking back at the videos, if he even learns off 50% of the stuff I've mentioned, I think that's enough to become a better fighter. But let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments in the section below about Chris Eubank Jr. I think he's a tremendous fighter. I think he just needs to. A lot of people don't like Chris Eubank Jr., but I really like, from what I've seen, he's a humble dude. Like, I think all the stuff that he does is just for camera, and just for his, making money. Like, that's what he's a prize fighter. Allow him to do that. But I think, like, as a person, I mean, one of my guys didn't interview him. Chris Eubank Jr. is he seems like a really humble dude, and he's a hard worker. But let me know what you think. Comments in the section below. Make sure you subscribe to Be Real TV, guys, in a bit.